What is up, guys? James Bond Fan 619 here, and I'm here with an early playoff prediction. It's only week 14, so you still have 3 weeks left. Yeah, I think there's a week in between there, and then you start the playoffs. Um, I was just thinking about this today, and I thought, oh, well, why don't I make a video out of it? So here, let's start it off. We're gonna go by the winners of the divisions, or who's leading the divisions right now. Note, it might change. It most likely will change along the way. We'll start with the AFC. AFC North leader right now is Pittsburgh at 10-3 after their win last night against Cleveland. Uh, AFC East leader right now is New England, who's most likely going to win that division. Houston is the AFC South leader right now, and Denver is the AFC West leader right now. And I hopefully that won't change. But and then Baltimore and Cincinnati. Now coming into week 14 right now, Baltimore faces Indianapolis, who's at the very bottom of the conference. Sadly enough, I'm going to say Indianapolis wins the game. And don't get me wrong, I know Baltimore might win, but Indianapolis has a bigger chance because Baltimore is playing down to their competition. Look back at Jacksonville. They lost to Jacksonville. Who loses to Jacksonville? Like, seriously, Jacksonville's only 3-9. They'd be 2-10 if Baltimore would have beat them. Baltimore would be 10-3 right now. No, they'd be 10-2, and they'd be leading the AFC North. They play down their competition, and playing down to the Colts is really hard, but it's most likely going to happen. So I have Indianapolis winning this week. This is not a weak prediction. I'm going off. So that's why I believe Baltimore will stay in the wild card picture. Cincinnati is definitely going to stay there. I don't mind Cincinnati this year, actually. They're not a half bad team. But let's get into this. First two teams to clinch the division get a bye. So we already figured out who gets the bye in the NFC. So we'll start with the NFC. NFC bye right now is Green Bay and San Francisco. Green Bay at 12-0, and San Francisco at 10-2. I'm really waiting to see what happens. Trying to think of who would match up against who. I think it would be Chicago versus New Orleans, who New Orleans is leading the NFC South, and Atlanta versus Dallas, if Dallas keeps their lead in the NFC East. NFC East this year is just a total crash. It's the Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, and the Eagles. And it goes from bottom to the top. It's Redskins, Eagles, Giants, and Dallas. But I believe Dallas might keep their position. So it would be Dallas versus Atlanta and New Orleans versus Chicago. In those games, I'd see Chicago. Yeah, don't faint. I do see Chicago winning. Chicago and Dallas winning. Atlanta, they'll play. They're like Baltimore. They'll play to their competition. So, and then Chicago will most likely face Green Bay. If anything, if they don't, then they'll face San Francisco, and Dallas will face the other. Actually, I think Chicago will face San Francisco, and Dallas will face Green Bay. Dallas will lose. Green Bay is 12-0 right now. We're coming into week 14. So, and Dallas is 7-5 going into week 14. So it just says, how much of a competition it's going to be. No, not at all. It's going to be like Vikings versus Dallas. Last time Dallas was in the playoffs. That was a blowout game. If you guys don't remember, that was from the 2010 season. 2009-2010 season. When it was New Orleans and Indianapolis in the Super Bowl. And to get to the NFC Championship game, it was Dallas and the Vikings. And the Vikings blew them out 34-3. And it didn't really change from there on. So, I see Green Bay, and I see San Francisco winning their games. The NFC Championship game is going to be really hard to choose because both these teams are amazing. So, I believe in the NFC Championship game, Green Bay versus San Francisco will win. Now, I'm going to get a lot of hate on this, but, it's true. San Francisco is the better team coming into this. Green Bay plays down in the competition and then wins the game at last minute. You guys don't remember Week 13, Giants versus Green Bay. Giants had the game. They blew it off, but Green Bay played down in the competition to let the Giants take the lead. So, I see San Francisco winning the NFC Championship and going on to the Super Bowl. So let's go down to the AFC. Dun dun dun. I believe the first two teams to clinch this division, no one's clinched yet. It'd be Pittsburgh and New England. So I mean, Houston would play Baltimore and Denver would play Cincinnati. Denver and Baltimore would win. It's true. Then Baltimore would play Pittsburgh and Denver would play New England. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate and a lot of stupid. That pick was stupid. But I have Denver going over New England. It's true. Denver is a team that they're hard to beat. Tim Tebow leading the crew, and he just brought a lot of momentum into it. It's not. Yeah, Tim Tebow's here now. We'll just play for you. It's Tim Tebow's here. Let's play better. Let's show them that we are the team to beat. So I have Denver going on to the AFC Championship game, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore. It's going to be a hard pick. I'm a humongous Pittsburgh fan, but I'll pick Baltimore any other day. But I don't think Baltimore will win here. I looked at last year's playoffs. A lot of it was redemption. I look back into the season, and Week 4 loss. Baltimore beat Pittsburgh. It was redemption in going on in the division in the I call it the semifinals. Semifinals to get to the AFC Championship game. Pittsburgh beat Baltimore, and then the AFC Championship game, Jets and Steelers, Week 16. Or one of those. It was between week. I think it was between Week 15 and Week 17. I think it was Week 16. Don't get me wrong. Steelers versus the Jets. The Jets beat them, and the Steelers got redemption and won. So I have Pittsburgh going over Baltimore. Then it leads to the AFC Championship game. Pittsburgh versus Denver. Now this one's going to be really hard. I like both teams, and it's not about liking, it's about everything else. So I would see Pittsburgh winning that game there. Pittsburgh winning the AFC Championship 2 years in a row. Now don't think this is biased because I'm mad because I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, or he's a Pittsburgh fan, so he can say that. No, trust me, it's not for me being a Pittsburgh fan. It's me looking at the stats. Right now, the stats are 10-3 Pittsburgh and 7-5 Denver. So if Denver wins the rest of their games, they'll be. I think there's 4 games left, so they'll be 11-5. Pittsburgh wins the rest of their games. They have the 49ers, the Rams, and then they have the Browns again. 49ers, Rams, Browns. Yeah, I'm trying to think of their schedule. But yeah. No, Denver doesn't have 4 games left. Denver has 3 games left. So even at that's 10-5. No, they do. I'm sorry. I'm really going mind blank right now. Yeah. So if Denver wins the rest of their games, they'll be 11-5. And if Pittsburgh wins the rest of their games, they'd be 14-3, or no, 13-3. So, and then you have to add they have to add the games. So they would be 14-3, and then Denver would be 13. No, it would be 13. Would they? Yeah. Yeah, they'd be 13-5. So you have Pittsburgh having the better record here, and you have Pittsburgh with the more aggressive defense. And you have Pittsburgh with the offense that can move without your quarterback running every other way. And don't get me wrong, Tim Tebow is a great quarterback, but he just runs too much. He has open receivers downfield, and he won't throw. So he feels he needs to run. I have Pittsburgh winning the AFC Championship game and going to the Super Bowl against San Francisco. Now, the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, Pittsburgh versus San Francisco. That one's hard. I like both teams. I do. And I believe San Francisco, they both have a chance of beating each other. And it's going to come down to a defensive game. I actually think San Francisco might win. You know, in my heart it's saying Pittsburgh might win, but San Francisco might win. You know, it's 50-50. So, I don't want to feel biased and say Pittsburgh's going to win. And if I do say Pittsburgh wins, you know, don't feel like I'm doing it because I'm biased. You know, I'm thinking in the mind, you know, right now, San Francisco's 10-2. So they win the rest of their games. They're 12. They win the rest of their games. Sorry, I'm really badly going mind blank. They almost have the same record as Pittsburgh if they don't lose any. If they lose one and then win the rest, they'd have the same exact record of Pittsburgh in the championship, in the Super Bowl. So, it is going to come down to a defensive game. I would like Pittsburgh to win, and I'd like San Francisco to win. So, I don't know what way is going to happen there. So, you know, it's going to be a good game, and I can't think of who I want to say is going to win, but I can't think of who I don't want to win. So, sad to say it, but I think San Francisco will win. They're the better team. They have a better defense. Well, kind of a better defense. They have a very good offense, a very good running game. Something Pittsburgh can never get. Rashard Mendenhall can't jump over a pile. He'll just run right into it. You know, he's not a Reggie Bush, or he's not a Frank Gore. He's Rashard Mendenhall. He will break through, but he will not jump over. That's going to be one of the things, the defensive stops that are going to happen in this game. Though I don't think Pittsburgh will lose the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. So, actually, it's really hard to say. It really is. You know, these two teams are so defensive-like. What I mean by that is they both have very, very, very good defenses. You know, they've all held up against teams, you know, no other, you know, they've been able to beat the teams, you know. Pittsburgh beat New England, who is the team in the AFC. You know, I'm trying to think if San Francisco beat that's any good. But I don't want to feel biased, but I don't want to feel like I am biased. It's very hard because I'm a Pittsburgh fan to say I want Pittsburgh to win. I would like to see Pittsburgh to win. I believe it could go 50-50, but my final thing is Pittsburgh will win the Super Bowl. That Stairway to 7 will come true, and we'll all here in Pennsylvania be rocking out to the Steeler chant, except for those Eagles fans who are mad that they have no good talent. Well, they do. They have a good quarterback and a good running back, but other than that, there is my early Super Bowl predictions. James Bond fans, listen out.